We hope that our content is keeping you entertained. It's everyday content for everyday people. Be sure to check out the other shows on the network.
Show us some love. Text us right now, 347-719-3350. Hey, can I get a popcorn? Can I get that popcorn with that extra butter? You got Twizzlers? You want to watch a movie? The show that discusses movies with the people who love them. Come get a piece of the bigger picture. It's your girl, DS Walls. I'm trying to catch these views from the back row. Cut. Welcome to Views from the Back Row, a movie podcast providing you with the real perspective on the movies. Just so you know, you can only find this show on the CWF Network, where we bring you big content in small pieces. I'm your host, DS Walls, and if your phone is not on vibrate, then who are you? That was just one of the best lines from Vampires vs. the Bronx, and that's the movie we're going to be talking about today. So this movie just came out on Netflix on October 2nd, and it is an absolute must watch. I am so excited about this movie. I watched it 2 times over the weekend and literally laughed every time. It is such a cute, comedic film with some aspects of horror, and the best part about it is the cast is mostly people of color. I know, it's about time. So, to sum up the movie, it follows 3 young boys who are either Latinx or Black, who are trying to save their neighborhood from gentrification through a block party. Them, alongside this electric cast of neighborhood people, are taking note that all of the ones who were supposedly sold off their businesses and moved to the suburbs are actually going missing. And it really doesn't take long after that for them to realize it is vampires. Now don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything. All of this is in the trailer, and I feel like pretty much explained by the title. Now, let's talk about what makes this movie take the cake. This Goonie-like style of friendship-based storytelling is from the perspective of young boys who belong to races that are typically heavily targeted and made out to be dangerous. It's beautiful because we get to see these young Black and brown boys be just that, boys. We get to witness them be young and idealistic and value friendship the way that we usually see white people do it, and it's in a cute, comedic way. There's obviously the culture very present there, but there's not these undertones of sadness and heartache that usually surround movies that come out of neighborhoods like the Bronx. Instead, this movie kind of highlights the upside of coming from an area like that and the family-like unit that exists with people all throughout the block. So this movie obviously has touches of cultures intertwined, and we see the 3 young boys, Miguel, Luis, and Bobby, get to be heroes in a neighborhood and setting that normally would not be portrayed as that. This movie is just, honestly guys, it's wholesome, it's heartwarming, and it is hilarious. And the icing on all of it is that it is also a commentary about the dangers and issues of gentrification. Yes. While the intruders of this story were vampire, everything they said in regard to their reasoning and justifications for flushing out neighborhoods filled with their own history and culture is the exact same as that used by developers these days. A takeover is concealed as investment, and cultural hubs are easily destroyed because of the inability for people of color to maintain their rent due to the upcreases that these quote-unquote investors are putting on the buildings. And this is an issue because historically it was very difficult for people of color to buy homes, and that's an issue that's still prevalent today, but that's a conversation for another day. Interesting enough, underlining even that, this movie puts a highlight on the slow and often disheartening effort put into searches surrounding missing and killed Black and Latin people. And it's great because the reasoning that they use to explain how all of these people could go missing without it raising any suspicion is a talking point on social injustice. And the movie just looks to showcase all of that. And that's great. So we have a conversation on gentrification, a conversation on the injustice surrounding the treatment of Black and brown people when it comes to police searches, and all of that is wrapped up in a movie with great comedic timing and a good storyline that flows easily over the 1 hour and 30 something minutes that this movie lasts. So this movie is written by and directed by Osmani Rodriguez, and the three boys, the up and coming actors, are Jaden Michael, Gerald Jones, and Gregory Diaz. It also had like a 5-minute cameo from Zoe Saldana, which I was like, is that really her? Because the part is so small that I was surprised that she would take on a role like this. But it's one of those things that you can understand because somebody would definitely want to be a part of this. And it also has Method Man, and I don't think I've seen him in anything in a long time, but I'm excited. I hope he does more things. I hope this is the beginning of once again budding acting career. If I'm wrong, let me know. Tell me what you've seen him in so that I can go ahead and go check it out and be on the know. It also has Imani Lewis, who I'm going to shout out because she had some of the most hilarious parts throughout the movie. And well, like everybody was funny, but I really appreciated her. And so I'm going to be keeping my eye out for her and what she goes on and does next. So I agree with everyone on Rotten Tomatoes who helped to get this movie a 95% rating. It is a must watch. But on that note, I do want to say that Netflix could have definitely put in some effort in advertising this movie. It came out and there was no buzz, there was no recommendations, and it really should have been on my recommended list because I love horror movies with comedic twists to them. And in the month of October, like everybody is looking for something like this. It's a family friendly movie. And I didn't find out about it until I read an article on Facebook, and then I literally had to search for it. And I think that it was like a forgotten movie. Like it's not even near the top of when you go to the Netflix originals. Like it's nowhere near that. So I don't understand what they were doing, if they're not proud of it, if there's an undertone to their reasoning, but there could have definitely been more effort put into making this movie more known. But yeah, watch it, check it out. Let me know your thoughts on it. Did you think it was funny as I did? Would you recommend it to other people? I would even recommend it for kids. It's not really gory. You know there's vampires, you know there's violence, but it's not exactly shown. So it's a good family-friendly movie about vampires in the Bronx and what people are going to do about it. All of my favorite parts of the movie have to do with the community itself, the scenes of them hanging outside of the bodega, the conversations with the other people that live in the neighborhood. All of those little funny and favorite moments that we take away from other cult classic Black films exist in this film as well. So I do think it's going to be one of those lasting conversations, especially for it being kind of new in its genre. Typically comedic horror movies and horror movies in general are majority white people. So to see this be a movie that shines on the melanin glowing skin of our people it's beautiful to see, and I am so excited for more things like this to come out. I'm definitely going to also be keeping my eyes on Osmani Rodriguez to see what else he comes up and makes, because he did write it on top of directing it, so his mind is where I'm at. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. If you did want to hear more of me, then you could definitely check me out on my YouTube channel, Writing to Riches, or on my other podcast, Reality Tea of Fiction, where we talk about TV shows, which ironically, in line with watching this movie, I also watched Scream 3. Not the movie, like Scream Season 3, which was an all-black cast as well. And let me just say, Black people are so funny, and them being in horror situations is even more hilarious because it brings the realism of what somebody would actually say in that moment. But yeah, be sure to check that out, and be sure to follow me in the network. But yeah, this is just a little movie talk with me. Be sure to leave a call or text on the CWF Network hotline, 347-719-3350, with your thoughts on Vampires vs. the Bronx. Be sure to follow me at DS Walls, and also follow the network at CWFP_. But let me get out of here. I have been your host, DS Walls, and these are my views from the back row.
This is the CWF Network, where we bring you big content in small pieces. Follow us on Instagram at CWFP_. Okay, bye.